Christian for kaijupop.com, and today we are playing Eliza's Quest by a guy called Patrick Coe on iPhone, well, iOS in general. It's an interesting one, this kind of, to understand this, you kind of have to understand what Eliza was, and that second paragraph doesn't make sense to me. Oh, I just can't pass that. Let's close get into this game. You have to understand what Eliza's Quest is, you have to understand what Eliza was. So this is a game for old men like me. Eliza was a kind of very early AI chat program that was sort of a very, very primitive attempt to pass the Turing test. The idea was that she was a kind of a computer psychiatrist that would live in your computer, and you could chat to it, and it would give sort of very generic responses and kind of nonsensical ones. And it was bundled with kind of a lot of systems, I think, during the 1980s, as a kind of tech thing of hey, this is what computers can do. And so that's what Eliza was. I remember fiddling around with Eliza, but on my old Amiga 500 back in the day. And what Eliza's Quest is it kind of turns this upside down. The idea is that Eliza is depressed, and you have to treat her of her depression, while at the same time sort of complying with Eliza's quirks of trying to psychoanalyze you, or that's the idea anyway. This is a file, and basically the idea of the game is I want to poke her into conversations where she will reveal the different words that are tucked away within these numbers. So yeah, and that would reveal a little bit more of this plot that's revealed here. That's a little bit kind of tongue in cheek, but it's kind of interesting. And I thought, just the idea of this is really fascinating. I think just taking this idea of what chatbots were like, and then what they are like now, and also this idea of trying to psychoanalyze the psychoanalyst, such as Eliza was. You're going to get kind of an idea of Eliza as a piece of software here. So, yes, how do you feel today? Fine. Type in to tell me more about that. I guess I'm okay. The slight irritation here, you say you guess I'm okay? Yes. Yes. You are sure? Yes. This is a typical sort of conversation you would have with Eliza. Like, it's not exactly it's not capable of doing any meaningful conversation. You already asked me that. Whoops. What's a little bit annoying, as you might be able to figure out by the fact that it's taken me ages to type anything else. You see, Eliza sometimes comes up with just random bullshit. This is exactly what Eliza kind of was like. What's kind of annoying from a gameplay perspective, if you have the choice of playing this on a tablet or a phone, don't play it on a phone, as I'm kind of forced to having to do here, because it kind of replaces the standard keyboard with this sort of retro skeuomorphic keyboard down the bottom, and all of these keys are really small, and also you're locked in portrait mode. This would be a breeze if I could play this in landscape mode, but for whatever reason you can't. Hopefully that'll be added in. But yeah, I mean, I think where this intrigues me was the idea of Eliza being a program that's constantly trying to dig at you and doesn't really respond to questions that you ask it. But at the same time, you have to find out all of this information, which is, I thought that was such a wonderful idea. In truth, it's a little bit more Eliza's kind of the skin to just a little bit of reading comprehension here. So Eliza was born in blank, Massachusetts. Even though I can completely change the subject here and just ask, where were you born? Oops. You born. And Daddy said I was born in MIT. Which town is it? So you get a little bit of a hint, and then either you know that MIT is in Cambridge, Massachusetts, or you pop open Safari and you find that out. And then you get a little bit of a flash, and bing, you've got one bit of text kind of unveiled. So it's kind of slightly ARG-ish in that it kind of wants you to find stuff out. It will give subtle hints to things, and then you push a little bit further. Cambridge, where I was born. Nice place. Let's make conversation. What does that suggest? That's kind of where it loops. So it's clever in a way, because it isn't, in a sense, I want to ream this for the fact that, it isn't the intriguing chat program of trying to outwit an AI that it purports to be. But on the other hand, that's specifically what Eliza was. That Eliza was this dumb AI chat thing. And, the fact that there's a secret story to Eliza, that you're trying to pry out of it, and it doesn't take much skill. I guess that's kind of, it's smart design to go with Eliza, because that's something that the facade is so easily peeled away, that it makes sense, rather than this is a sophisticated piece of AI that you're trying to have a proper conversation with. It's a little bit disappointing. I think that I kind of thought Eliza would put up a little bit more of a fight in kind of saying, we're here to talk about you, not me, kind of thing. But as it is, it's kind of a really fascinating and brilliant concept, kind of hiding something that's a little bit more simple. So what does that suggest to you? I could play along. And you can play this game just as Eliza and just talk to Eliza if you want to, if you're nuts. What does that suggest to you? I'm just gonna say, when's your birthday? Because I need to find that out. What makes you think of my birthday? Oh, okay, let's ask a different one then. When were you born? Yeah, so she, everything's disjointed. It's not kind of pulling over the conversation at large. Eliza doesn't know that you're saying something, completely atonal. I had to look that up, by the way. This is the second time I've played this particular section. But yeah, so it's really interesting. I wish there was a little bit more to it. I wish I could then talk about the year 1966 and find out a little bit more. And I'm sure there are kind of Easter eggs tucked in here and there. Maybe what kind of person are you? But as it is, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Black Bar, which came out last year, and that was kind of about parsing text and figuring out what words go in particular gaps. Wow, hey. Whereas here, you're trying to put together questions that give the answers, and the answers are these words. So yeah, it's an interesting little puzzle game, and it'd be interesting to uncover the rest of this story. Don't kind of think it's quite as sort of innovative an idea of talking to an AI that it might appear, but it's an interesting little puzzle game that you might want to check out if you've got $3 floating around. It's Eliza's Quest on iOS right now for $3, I think, 300 yen, and yeah, it's an interesting little curio if you're bored of talking to Siri, I suppose. Chris Chatton for kaijupop.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.